This clip is brought to you by SaveWithConrad.com.
Let's jump into the next little piece of business here, because we see Scott Hudson interview James Storm and Dusty Rhodes. And Dusty says the tag belt sure would look good on the hood of his car as they drove away after the show. How great is Dusty? I mean, I know that we were blessed with him for a long time, but you go back and you watch some of his stuff, even with TNA here, where, don't get me wrong, he's definitely on the downhill slope of any sort of in-ring or on camera, but he's still wildly entertaining every time out, is he not?
So a lot of people through the years will, probably out of 10 TNA fans, 8 probably first discovered TNA on Spike. It's no Fox Sports, certainly not the Asylum. But through the years, if there's one name that sort of comes up in conversation of, hey, I didn't know so-and-so was a part of the early days of TNA, a name that comes up probably most is, I didn't know Dusty Rhodes. And man, he didn't do a one-off. I said, nope. Dusty Rhodes came up every Wednesday for quite the run. And even though, and at one time, he was running all things creatively. But from day one, Dusty would request his check. He wanted to be paid when he walked through the door. Totally old school. Bob Ryder would have to have his check sitting there. You never know, kid. I'm like, Dusty, you've been coming up for 3 months. Do we still got to do this? Yep. But anyway, Dusty's charisma, and I loved having him apart, bounce ideas off, but he was so good for the talent. He'd roll in, get there early, and basically hold court as much as possible, talking to other guys. And I knew what a bonus, what an absolute bonus. Because I think those type deals, I know for me, being in dressing rooms, I've seen other guys, me and Kevin Nash in long road trips and early WWF back in the day, we would talk about just being around and being in the car or being in a dressing room, and to hear a couple of stories here and there. Yeah, they're entertaining, but you can also learn. And Dusty, man, but this match we're about to talk about, I remember several like this that you go, he ain't done one flip.
Nope.
He ain't done one X Division move.
Nope.
He literally has not left his feet. He's really only talked on the microphone for maybe 30 seconds at the top of the match. He didn't grab the mic and talk for 3 minutes. He did it with facials and timing and just theatrics and that kind of stuff. The people to this day, that's what they want, to be entertained.
Yes.
Yeah. And Dusty, that's my Hurricane Rana. You just saw, just the funny Dustyisms we used to have a blast with.
Yep. We sure did. We still do. Me and Crowbar text them back and forth all the time. When you had a little person masturbating in a trash can, Dusty got in the ring the next week and he said, the marquee says wrestling. It does not say a little person a beaten off in the trash can. But the way he put that in front, a beaten off, just
charisma. Real. And when you kind of think back and you hear like the Flair Rhodes dynamic in promos, you couldn't get more yin and yang.
No.
Wow. Jim Crockett Promotions, pal.
Coming back, baby. End of July. One last time. Hey, so here's the write-up from the Observer. The crowd was hottest for Kid Kash and Dallas in a title defense over Dusty Rhodes and James Storm. He would say Dusty Rhodes got by far the biggest reaction of anyone. It was 5 minutes before they even locked up, and the crowd went nuts live with every Rhodes gyration, even though it was a lot different watching it on TV, as nothing happened forever. Also in the Observer, the difference was the crowd, which for whatever reason was the hottest TNA crowd in a long time. They've had crowds hot for certain matches, but this crowd was into everything on the show. They're going to go 11 minutes. Kid Kash and Dallas are going to beat Dusty and James Storm to retain the tag straps. Tenay and West said it had been 20 years since Dusty had been half of the tag team champions when he and Manny beat Nikita and Ivan Koloff. West compared Dusty to George Foreman. In the end, Dallas knocked out Storm with a lead pipe. An entertaining match personality-wise and some solid exchanges between Kash and Storm, but mostly stalling from Dusty. 1 star. I know that, we can be critical of the work, but my goodness, the fans went bananas, so it's a win.
Conrad, the wording of that, mostly stalling.
Yeah.
Do you think in Dusty's mind, he's thinking, hey, let me stall? No, he's going, let me entertain. Let me suck these people in. Let me get them emotionally invested in the match. And then we're going to give them some action. And that action is going to come from Kid Kash. And you sort of glanced over. So some of you non-TNA dialed in fans, Conrad just referenced Dallas. You might also know him as
Lance Archer.
Okay. I didn't. Yeah. Oh, Lance Hoyt back in those days.
That's right.
He was from Texas, another college quarterback. He played QB in college.
No, I would not have guessed that. He is Too Tall Jones.
Super duper athlete. But anyway, we've talked about Kazarian and Red and all these different guys, Pat Kenny. And anyway, so hell of an entertaining match. James Storm got to sit under the learning tree of the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes, and he did not stall. He entertained.
Hey, it's Conrad Thompson. Thanks for checking out the podcast here on YouTube. Be sure to hit the subscribe button and the notifications bell so you get a notice anytime we upload some new content. And go save yourself some money right now. If you're in a 30-year loan or you have credit card debt, it's not a matter of if I can save you money. It's a matter of how much. Find out right now for free at SaveWithConrad.com.